Welcome back to Clash of Cultures, and we continue our preview of college football teams. Today's video is going to be the Colorado Buffaloes, and this one's going to be different, but we're going to get into the football talk. Before we do, thank you for watching this video. If you're on this video, please just take a second and go ahead and press the like and subscribe button. We appreciate all the love that we've gotten on our race to 500 subscribers. We're already near 300, so thank you for all the love. With that, let's get into Colorado. The structure of this video is going to be different because Colorado is a different team. The amount of turnover they've had is historic. You're talking about Deion coming in. If you remember, Colorado 1-11 last year, so obviously not a very good team. If you remember the statement Deion made, Coach Prime, I should say, made when he came in, he said he's bringing his own baggage. And Coach Prime was not lying. We're talking about, I don't even know how many players they have now. They changed over. I look at their depth chart. They have three returning players. Three players, not
out of 22.
Not like returning starters. I'm talking about three players that were on the team last year.
Well, wait. So 3 of the starters are returning.
Yeah, but I'm saying everybody else that they have starting was not on the team.
Yeah, so, that is crazy.
Yeah, we've seen nothing like this. If you guys seen other videos in which I've been high on Colorado, let me say now, I am high on Colorado, not due to the amount of turnover or some of the skill they have. I believe in Deion Sanders. I believe in what he's doing. I believe in what he has done in terms of creating the right mentality. Yes, the turnover is going to be crazy. Yes, what I do have to give him credit for is he's brought in a lot of talent. We can go down this list, but he has brought in a lot of talent. Now, is it going to take time to mesh? Yes. Do I have a bet with Steven? And I think somebody said, like, oh, you got to make sure you pay. I don't know if y'all know. Steven is my real life son. Like, I can't hide from him. I tried. I can't hide from him. He's my real life son. So, yes, I have a bet that I'm probably going to lose. But everything I'm being optimistic about is the belief in Deion Sanders, not the belief in this roster, because I'll be honest, a lot of these guys I don't know. I don't. I kind of seen transfer portal players as they came. A lot of these guys were skilled, but not necessarily great. A lot of them were 4 or 5 stars that just didn't get playing time yet. But I can't really speak to these are great players outside of really Shedeur, right? And we know what Shedeur did at Jackson State. 3,700 yards, I think, 40 touchdowns. But again, that was at Jackson State. We know what Travis Hunter should be. He was hurt a lot of last year, but number 1 player in his draft class, probably going to play both ways. We know what McClain is supposed to be at cornerback, but again, that's a freshman. But I believe Deion Sanders is bringing in the right mentality, which is if you're not willing to work, we're going to get you up out of here. Again, does it translate in year 1? To be honest, probably not. Probably not year 1. But I don't count out Deion Sanders in anything. I like his mentality. I like his belief in himself. And I like what he's doing, instilling discipline and pride in young men. So that's really where I stand with it. What's your thoughts, Steven?
Okay, so I agree about the mentality portion and kind of the principles, the work ethic, all that good stuff. I had a conversation with one of my friends, Christian, who's a big Florida State fan. So obviously I translate to him being a Deion Sanders fan. He's high on Deion in Colorado as well. This team is going to be under 500 this year, not because Colorado's players are bad or because Deion Sanders, I think, is a terrible coach. I just think that the odds are stacked up against him, to a sense. Now, when we talk about all the transfer players that came over, I actually did a little bit of research. A lot of those players are all 3 stars, for one. Now, there's a few 4 stars. DeMoy Kennedy is a 4-star. Yeah. Obviously, they picked up Cormani McClain. He's not a transfer. He's number 1 cornerback in the class. Yeah, he's a 5-star. But everyone else that they brought over are all either 3 stars. I think there's a few 4 stars. But even the players that they lost last year that Colorado had, those were 3 stars and 4 stars. Right. So when I think of like the idea that Colorado's bringing in quote unquote better players, I don't know if you can say that because they were ranked the same as the players they had. Now, it may not fit his scheme or the kind of mentality or work ethic like you were saying. That might be one way to put it. But I think people are getting so wrapped into the transfer portal as He's bringing all these like high caliber players. At the end of the day, if players are transferring, that probably means they weren't good enough to play at the team they were leaving. So if Colorado is trying to compete against, the USCs, the Oregons, the Utahs of the world, and eventually get to the highest of the, the pinnacle of it and play against the Georgias, the Ohio States, and teams like that, and they're taking those teams backups. I mean, obviously, this is just right now. So this is a 1-year thing kind of thing. I don't anticipate this happening in 5 years. I hope he gets his own recruits and everything like that. This is a one-off kind of thing. But that's why I figure that they're still going to be a pretty bad team. They still have a tough schedule. And I think my biggest gripe about the hype with Deion Sanders is he played at Jackson State.
Well, he didn't play at Jackson State.
I'm sorry. He coached at Jackson State.
Yeah.
And let's be honest. He had Travis Hunter. He had a son who I don't know if he was a 5-star or 4-star, but
I think he was a 4-star.
Okay, so he had obviously Travis Hunter. He had a few other 4-stars and 5-stars. None of those other teams had players of that caliber. So my biggest area of concern and question is, can he outcoach other teams? And I get he has a coaching staff around him who knows the ins and outs of football. But at the end of the day, he is the head man. He is the captain of the ship. So can he kind of, like I said, can he outcoach another, like a Lincoln Riley?
So your concerns are X's and O's.
Exactly. Like, yes, he's gonna be a great recruiter because he has the name. He's arguably the best recruiter in college football, and he's only coached for 2 seasons just based off his name.
Let's where you have to give, and again, I will see his level of X's and O's. Let's remember his offensive coordinator is the old head coach of Kent State. Now, that may not sound like much to you, but if you remember, Kent State is the team that pushed Georgia last year, right? So he's bringing, and let's also remember, Deion Sanders has been around high-level football his whole life. Played at Florida State, like we mentioned. He played in the NFL. This is a NFL Hall of Famer, absolutely no doubt. But he has seen coaching. He has seen X's and O's. He played offense and defense. He has seen defensive game plans. I am sure he understands football, just at a basic level. And he's now been coaching for a couple of years. Now, again, do I think he can match wits with the best of them? Maybe not this year. But I think what he has understood is it's my job to influence, to motivate, to mentor, right? We're going to X's and O's to me. There are very few teams that are going to beat you at the college football level with plain X's and O's, right? At some point at this level, it's about how hard do we work? How hard can I motivate? How hard can we execute those things, right? I don't think it's, hey, I draw plays on a board better than you. It is, I drive my team to execute those plays better than you, right? This is why you watch Alabama practices and you see Nick Saban going crazy, because he demands perfection. I don't think Nick Saban, with 800 offensive coordinators that he's had since he's been in Alabama, is out Xing and O'ing somebody. I think he's just demanding perfection. And I think that's what Deion Sanders can do, right? I think they're going to put in a game plan that's similar to every other college football team. And I think Deion Sanders is going to demand perfection of his offensive coaching staff, his defensive coaching staff, but his players. He is going to demand perfection. And what I mean by that is when you kind of look at those early videos of Deion Sanders coming in and changing the culture of Colorado, there was a lot of laziness. There was a lot of everything, anything goes. And he's now brought a level of professionalism, a level of accountability, a level of we're going to do things right. Again, do I think it translates in year one? Absolutely not. But I think you give Deion Sanders time. Now, I'm not going to predict that Deion Sanders in Colorado is going to win a championship in 3 years, 5 years. Yeah. But will predict is in 3 years, this Colorado program, this Colorado organization is going to be better. And that's all you can ask. They were 1-11. That is a losing mentality, right? Stephen just mentioned the recruits maybe didn't change, but maybe those recruits that he had in there at Colorado were so poisoned by losing and bad habits that they couldn't be fixed. That I need to bring in new guys who are doing this for the first time where I can really instill good habits, right? It's hard to walk into the same building and do something completely different. So, hey, let's let you go start someplace new and let me bring in guys who are seeing this for the first time. This is not the building that they used to walk into. They understand that I have to step it up a little bit. Just like those players that are leaving. Hey, you probably came in and thought this was what it was before when we were 1-11. It was okay to lose. Deion is bringing a different mentality.
I agree. I mean, like I said, I do like the mentality portion. And I do like the kind of I forget what it's like, fast, strong. You know what I'm talking about? Like his little saying,
mantra,
his mantra, yeah. His kind of. I like that. I mean, I think that'll be good. But at the end of the day, all that is pretty, but you got to win football games.
That's a
and
fact.
you know, it comes down to the win column and the loss column. Now, I'm not saying, hey, if you go 2-10, you're out of here. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean, he's getting paid as much as Jimbo. I'm pretty sure. He has the same amount. I think he's like a top 10 paid coach. I'm almost positive.
I thought he was a little low. I thought he was at like $5 million.
Okay,
and I don't want to say low.
All right, you go ahead and find that. But so let's just say, so I mean, he's getting paid a good amount. And yes, like bringing media and bringing revenue is cool, but you got to win. You got to win football games. That's at least that's what I believe. But
now where I'm going to say this translates, right? ESPN, the actual station, not ESPN 2 or 3 or ESPNU, showed one spring football game. It was Colorado.
And it was Colorado.
Right? And I mean this from this reason. That brings in recruits, right?
Yeah.
If I know that Deion Sanders and what he has done, even at Jackson State, what he has done is he's been really good at putting a spotlight on his players. So if I know if I am a 5-star, if I am a 4-star, I know that if I go to Colorado, I'm going to be on TV because of Deion Sanders. I guarantee 2 or 3 Colorado games from a 1-11 team are going to be primetime games this year.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of to get into the schedule portion, while you find that contract, I have them going probably 3-9 or 4-8. That was my kind of outlook on them. So for those of you who guys were not here a couple of videos ago, or maybe a couple months ago, me and my dad have a bet that if they win 8 games or more, then I have to buy him a jersey of his choice. If they go 7-5 or worse, he'll have to buy me a jersey of my choice. So in the comment section below, what jersey do you guys think I should get? Because we should already just submit the order. Because I mean, just by looking at this schedule, I have them losing to TCU, Oregon, USC, UCLA, Oregon State, and Utah. And I think the rest of those games are, I mean, if you want to call them swing games, that's fine. I would still probably have them as the underdog in each of one of those games, maybe besides the Nebraska game, Colorado State, maybe, but even Nebraska, I think that game's going to be competitive. So I would say I have them probably 3-9 or 4-8. But what do you have them? I know the bet is 8-4, but what do you actually have Colorado?
Yeah, so being realistic, I have them winning 5 games. 5 games,
so 5
realistically. And 7. Could I pick them out? No. Because if we talk floor ceiling, right, I would probably say 6 games is about the ceiling. And I'm going to be honest, probably 2 games is about the floor, right? I think
Colorado State, I feel like, is a win.
You can't turn over this much of your roster. I think Shedeur is legit. And I think that's what makes me feel halfway decent about Colorado. I think Shedeur's legit. And I think Travis Hunter is different.
Now, wait. So now to end this video, I just want to say, Travis Hunter got a lot of hype coming out of high school. Now, I will say this. There are a lot of good receivers in this conference.
Yeah, no facts.
I expect him to travel with those receivers and show why he was the number 1 player in the country.
Well, so I think it depends on what he does, right? I can see a world where Travis Hunter moves at some point in time exclusively to.
Okay, I mean that's a different discussion. But
now, just quickly, Deion Sanders is about 20th. He's making $5.5 million a year. He's about 20th in coaches.
Okay, that's not too bad.